Welcome to the Chad and Chong podcast. I am Chad.
And I'm Chong.
And today we have a very, very special guest who has played with literally some of the most legendary artists in some of the world's biggest stages. And I mean the world, because he has toured the world over many times. And we're talking about artists like Tito Puente, Celia Cruz, the late, great Willie Colon. And he has been the Conguero for Marc Anthony for over 3 decades. Please welcome Eric Velez.
Man, thank you.
Thank you so much.
She said 3 decades. I didn't even realize. 3 decades?
That's what your bio says. So I was like, my
You know
gosh.
what? Yeah, I guess.
There's also a lot in the bio, so we
There's a lot.
very, very
Yeah,
condensed
I
it.
know. I know. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Eric, you and I, we got to meet at the NAMM show for the first time.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
year, back
this year.
in January, which was awesome. You know, I mean, I've been going to see, Mark's band for the last 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
At least once a year because my mom is a huge fan. So, her first Marc Anthony concert was at the LA Forum, maybe about
Right.
6 or 7 years ago, which you
Okay.
guys have hit that venue
Yeah,
multiple
well,
times.
I don't know how many times
Yeah,
we hit that
I know,
venue. Yeah,
I know.
so-
Legendary venue where
Yeah,
the
it
Lakers
is.
played,
It
Laker
is.
fans.
A lot of history there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so, but it's awesome to finally get to have Eric on the show. It's something,
thank you.
I was looking forward to. How did it get going for you?
Wow, man. It started when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old. Music was always in my house. My mother, my dad, and they were just constantly playing music. And my brother's a musician as well, Jose Juicy Jacino. We don't have the same last name. We have different fathers, but his father is also my dad. Considered me. He rests with the Lord. I consider him my dad as well. So my brother learned from him. So when I was growing up, I watched my brother play. But my brother was already playing. He was a kid, and he was I don't want to call it like a boy band. He was in a group that were called the Rumberito All Stars. So in that band, it featured my brother, Bobby Allende, Marc Quiñones, Tito Allende, which is Bobby's brother, and another guy named Harry Fernandez. I think he passed away. So they were a bunch of kids that they met, and my brother's father, my pops. I
Yeah.
call him pops, and I call my dad my dad.
Yeah.
He put the kids together. Tito Puente told the kids, hey, they put these kids together. And he came with the ID, he came up with the name, he came up with the uniform. They had the Ricky Ricardo, blah, blah, blah outfits. And these kids would just play all the time in all these clubs in New York City, like the Corso, the Red Parrot. I mean, these guys played, they were kids playing with Tito Puente, Julio Iglesias in Madison Square Garden. My brother sat in with the Fania All-Stars. And they
Wow.
did all these things. So I'm a baby and I see all these things. So I'm around these guys. So my brother didn't show me like, oh, okay, this palm tip, left hand. I was just watching, and I just, whatever that I had, boom, I started playing. And I learned from him. And then I picked up stuff from Bobby Allende. I picked up stuff from Marc Quiñones. But this is because what happened was my family and their family, they got to know each other. And then my mother became Bobby's mother's best friend. So going to his house and with my brother would take me to the rumbas. Back in the day in New York, it was one of those things that they would take the drums and go to the park or anywhere in the corner, and you would see rumbas left and right in the park, Central Park, Orchard Beach. And my brother would go and he would take me. There was a time I was real shy, like kid. I'm like, I want to play. I see a lot of people. And he's like, come on, play. And he put me to play. And, then when my brother became a teenager, he was playing with, back in those days, they used to put groups together, and they were called like Cuchifrito groups. They were groups that they would play covers.
Yeah.
And, they would play it in the park. These guys would just use the light post and get the electricity from there. Free concert.
Wow.
So it was so boom, I would play there. I remember one time my brother took me to an after hour. We talking about 3 a.m. I'm like 9.
Oh,
I'm like 9 years old, and he asked my mother, and my mother's like, "You're gonna take him, blah, blah, blah. But it's right there. It's literally down the block." And I'm like, he wakes me up. He's like, "Come on, let's go." He says, "I gotta play." So I'm in the corner in the dark, and the owner's like, "We can't have a kid here." Remember at that time, after hours, there was only one entrance. There was no, and it's dark and. People dancing. There's other things going on. We're talking about 80s, and I'm in the corner there, and then, okay, and he would say, come on. Then I would play one song, and then he would finish his set, and then take me back home. So my experiences was that.
Wow.
And then my mother, my father, they would go out. They used to love to dance. So if they didn't go to if it wasn't the nightclubs, which I couldn't go, but back then in New York, there was so many festivals. Like there would be festivals in Manhattan, in the Bronx, street festivals, and I saw a lot of bands growing up.
Yeah.
I saw Ray Barretto, I saw Tito Puente, I saw Conjunto Clásico. Wow, with Tito Nieves was in that band. I saw a lot of things. So while they dancing, I'm supposed to be. Sometimes I would play with my friends, and then I would come back to the band. I'll be. Ray Barretto, wow, Tito Puente, wow. So I saw all these things. And then my brother got back in the business, and he started playing with this group called Grupo Fascinación. They were very good band back in the 80s, then somewhere into the early 90s. So I'm like about maybe 15 and a half years old. My brother's already playing with this band, and I would go to the rehearsals, and then he would sneak me in again into these clubs. Now we're talking about like clubs back in the day that were high end, Copacabana, Club Broadway. There were a lot of clubs back in those days in New York. So he would sneak me in, and I would be in the corner again. Okay, let me play on stage. Boom, I play a couple of numbers. He gets an offer to go play with Jose Alberto Canario.
Wow.
So they're looking for a conga player. So he tells the musical director, a trumpet player, New York. He's been playing there for years. Pete Nader says, "Pete, why don't you use my brother?" I'm already like 16, close to going on 17. I was 16. "Why don't you use my brother? He knows all the songs. Why are you gonna, my father would take him to the gigs, and Pete was a little
hesitant.
Yeah, hesitant about. I don't know. He's a kid and blah blah blah. But then he thought about it because when he was 17,
wow,
he started playing with Larry Harlow.
Man.
So he thought about it and said, okay. So then I started there. So my father would take me, poor guy, he would take me to the gigs, and then after the gigs, he would go to work.
Wow.
And then either I went to school or whatever, so I started like that. And then my name just got around. There's a kid that plays and blah, blah, blah. He's a real good, quiet kid. And, so as time goes by, I'm playing with Fascinación, boom, I start freelancing. Okay, you get a call. Yeah. So then I start playing with Johnny Rivera. And then I'm playing with, I get a call to play with Peter Conde Rodriguez. And I remember that. It was, my first gig was of course, it was another after hour in Brooklyn. Yeah. I remember the spot. The spot was called Palominos. My father took me. I started playing with Pete. And then something happens that Pete is talking to Eddie Palmieri. Pete, it's like, he's like, "Eddie, what's wrong?" He's like, "I got a trip to Chicago, and I try to call a lot of conga players, but everybody's busy." So Pete says, I got somebody for you. He's the conga player I'm using. He's a kid. He's 17 years old, and he's like, "Can he play?" Eddie, Eddie, may he rest in peace. Wow. Eddie was like, "Can this kid play?" Eddie was wild like that. He said, "No." Pete was serious. He's like, "Yeah, él bien muchachito, él toca bien." Pete had that serious character, but nice, very beautiful, humble man. He said, "Okay." So they tell me, "All right, listen, you're gonna go. Can you do it?" Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, and I'm nervous because I hear Palmieri's music. I heard all these records was in my house.
Yeah,
I knew the songs, but I'm nervous. because I'm playing with Palmieri, and I hear throughout the grapevine, hey, Palmieri lets you play by himself solo. And at that time, Giovanni Hidalgo already passed through that band. And I seen Giovanni do all those crazy things. And I'm like, yo, man, how I'm gonna, I'm gonna top, Giovanni's playing it. Oh, and then to top it off, I was covering for Richie Flores.
Wow.
But Richie was doing a lot of things. And I'm like, wow, okay. I'm like, all right. So then guys in the industry, they find out, oh, you're going to do the gig with Eddie. So, musicians back then were foul. They would be like, oh, you playing with Eddie? Oh, good luck. Or,
Man.
Eddie, this. And, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, man. I'm like, So my father takes me to the airport, back at that time, family could go to the gate or whatever, no TSA on the screen and stuff. And Eddie greets me. I remember he had a Frankfurt in his hand and the beer in his hand. He says, welcome. He's like, Eric, welcome. Don't worry. I got you. He's telling my father, I got him. He's in good hands in all states and all that stuff. So, it's like 10 in the morning. And I'm like, oh. Let's just put it like this. When the gig happened, I knew Eddie's stuff by the records, but I was so nervous that I forgot a lot of the breaks because I'm like... Wow. But, I did the gig and he's like, he's praising me, And he's like, wonderful job, Eric, excellent. Then I get another phone call and he calls. And then they kept calling me. And that happened for like a good, almost 2 years.
Man, that's amazing.
And then we go to the next chapter. Yeah. I don't know what your next question is.
Well, before we get to the next question, this is something that I did want to know because, I've met different people from Puerto Rico,
right?
Also from New York, and there's a distinction between New Yorican and Puerto Rican. So, can you quickly talk about that and the differences between the two?
Oh man, let me see how I could put this. not to offend people in the island, because New York Rican is like, when I this is from what I heard, when they got there, I think it was in the 40s or something, they had to learn the English language, and it was tough, and a lot of times they had to fight, and they had to go against the Irish, the Italians, African Americans, and somehow that toughness came in. But then everything else, they started, listening to other types of music, whatever it was, Motown or rock, whatever, they just, I guess they adapted to what was here in America. So it wasn't really that Puerto Ricanish from Puerto Rico. And then Puerto Rico and the island, remember, it's straight up, your heritage is pop, pop, pop. There's not other cultures of, stuff like that. So sure. It's different, it's different. Even the way they play, it's totally. I'm not saying that it's not bad. It's two different styles.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Two different styles. Like Puerto Rico, when they play, like, you see them, they won't sweat on stage because they know they play with the mic. While in New York, we play loud, blah, blah, but we're more aggressive, we're more on top of the beat. They're a little bit, they can play on top of, they can play, but it's a little bit more, it's real attitude wise and everything are real different, like, but still don't mess with them either. Don't mess with the guys in the island. No.
Yeah.
But it's different.
So more so it's an approach thing, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's an approach. Remember, New York Ricans have that. We have that too. We have two things going on.
Yeah.
We could be like, Papa, what's up, man? What's going on? And we mixing the English and the Spanish together, and here we are. We're hanging out with African Americans, and we're hanging out, with Caucasian. Hey, what's going on? You got the job, and it's intertwined with a lot of things mixing it. you know. So
Yeah.
while in Puerto Rico, you know, they may know stuff from the States, but it's more
Just what's there.
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know.
When did you realize that music wasn't just a hobby?
Oh, that was from since I was a kid, man. It was either three things. I either wanted to be an artist or archaeologist.
Wow.
Or
That's a big difference.
or musician. You know, I think about it. I'm like, say, man, I should have stuck with archaeology. You know, right. I should have, but I chose that, you know, because it was, I used to visualize when I was a kid. I used to hit on my mother's furniture. There was a time that we didn't have congas or timbales, and I used to get sticks. I used to improvise, you know, use her cups or whatever. I used to bang on furniture, and I used to put the records on, and I used to like visualize me like playing, like if I was playing in Madison Square Garden. Here I am talking by myself, like, hey, thank you, playing to the records, you know, and I'm here. I guess what I was doing was manifesting it, not even me knowing it.
Wow,
not even me knowing it. And my father knew a lot of musicians. You know, he went to school with Ray Castro, Eddie Wawa. He went to school with a lot of cats, and, you know, sometimes he would bump into them. And I would hear these guys be like, I just got back from Paris playing with such and such. And I'm like, hearing this, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, yo, this guy went here, he went there. And then when I did my first gig, and I got my, you know, like my first gig, I think what it was, I think it was $65, you know, but $65 for.
What year was this?
89 or 90?
Man.
I think it was 9. I think I got in 89. Like I was already in, but like my first gig, I think it was in somewhere in 1990. So I'm here, you know, $65. Like, wow. And then I see my other friends, they have a summer school job or they working and I see how much they getting paid. And I'm like, and you work, I'm like, they worked all week and they didn't get close to what I got. And I just did it. I just did this in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing again tomorrow. And then the other day I got a day off and, you know, 65. You know, like, so I was like, and I love doing this. So yeah, I knew from then.
Yeah.
I knew from then. I did wanted to be an archaeologist because I'm into, you know, into history. Was it dinosaurs, pantheonologist, whatever you want to go.
Man.
You know, I love that. But so
mentioning that from a young age, Madison Square Garden was one of the dreams. And fast forwarding to maybe if you could recount the first time you ever played the Garden, what was that like? I mean, such an iconic venue like the Madison Square Garden, and seeing your dream come to life. What was that like?
That was I remember vividly. It was with Isidro Infante y La Elite. He's a piano player, but arranger, producer. You know, in the salsa field, very, 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 very well. He's done tons of productions. So he had a band at that time, and he like, oh, we're gonna play at the Garden. And you know, at that time, they still have it now, but that used to be called the 16th annual Salsa Festival and blah, blah, blah. They had like so many artists and we got to be on the bill. I think we were the first band or the second band because then they had like, I think India was one of the closers. They had a big lineup. And I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm playing at the Garden, you know, and you're going through the hallways and, you know, I start thinking like, wow, Muhammad Ali passed through here.
Sheesh,
and I'm a big wrestling fan, so I'm here thinking like Hulk Hogan passed through here like last month, and like, yeah. So it's like one of those things. Like it's like, and when I got on stage, it's like, I don't recall being nervous, anything, because people think that when you go on stage and you see all those people, it's really not what you think. You see so many people, but it's like, who are they really looking at? You know, that's how I see it. Like, who are they really looking at? It's like so many people. Like, I get nervous when it's more intimate.
Right.
You're like,
you're under a microscope.
Boom, you're right there. But when it's like, you could be playing and talking like, I know, right? But yeah, right. Me and Jesse like, like 30,000 people, and we doing our job. But I mean, I know they got big screens and all that, but it's one of those things. But it was, yeah, man. It was the little bit that I remember. It was like, wow, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you played the Garden?
I think I was 22, maybe.
Wow.
I think I was 22.
Man.
22 years
Young,
old, I
yeah,
think.
for sure.
Let me see. 22 or 21, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, God's blessed me.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, man.
Talk about your approach to playing. Has it changed at all from what you noticed over the years?
Yes, it has.
In which ways would you say?
I think before I wanted it to do a lot. You know, when you're young, you want to do a lot. You know, then as you get older, you start realizing, okay, you know, less is more. You know, and I would hear stuff that I did back then. I'd be like, what was I thinking? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, that's not it. I'll be like, no, that's not it. I'm like, why did I do that there? I should have did this and I should have did that. But that's the years of maturity,
Right?
And growing up, and you keep learning and you keep learning. We all still learn to this day.
Yeah.
And you keep learning and you keep learning. So I could hear the difference. I mean, like, if you don't hear the difference from when you was playing from you was young, then there's something wrong with you, you know. But you hear it, you know. There's some stuff that I did on certain albums, like, yo, that's pretty cool, you know. And I'm like, I did that. I'm like, I haven't done that in a long time, and then I put it in my repertoire, in my brain,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I do see the difference of, you know, like, I guess the whole approach is that I keep listening to a lot of things, and I keep listening, and I keep trying to learn from this and that, from the old, and there's a lot of things I go back to it because there's things that you miss, and you be like, wait a minute, I missed that, boom, and then you learn, and I even learn from the guys that are younger than me. I'm not ashamed about it. I say it,
Yeah.
you know. So I guess it's just the whole learning process, you
Yeah.
know. That's my take on it.
When you start working with Marc Anthony, how did that all come about?
I was 18 years old, so I already did Eddie Palmieri and Johnny Rivera, but Peter Conde. So I'm freelancing. So while I'm doing all that, I'm freelancing. You know, I freelancing, play with Imai Miranda, Chio Feliciano. I mean, like, Lalo Rodriguez. So I get a phone call. I remember this. And I said, hello. You know, I pick up. I was still living with my parents. So I pick up the phone. They're like, hello. Like, hey, this is, hey, my name's Marc Anthony. He's actually the one that called me. But this is 1993.
Yeah.
So this is when he did his first album, Otra Nota. And that was when he just came out of the house. He was doing house music at that time with Little Louis Vega. I knew there was a cassette and CD that came out at that time. For you young people who don't know, is that the cassette was the thing that we put in. Okay, not digital. Anyway, so, you know, I knew that because that came under the RMM label. It was Ralph Mercado's management. He had everybody on that. That was like the Fania of the 90s.
Gotcha.
He came out in that label and he says, hi, my name's Marc Anthony. I heard about you, blah, 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 blah. I'm coming out. My CD's out. I'm coming out with a band. And I got, you know, you was referred to me. Wow. And I want to know, you know, are you interested in playing? What are you doing? I said, no, I'm freelancing, blah, 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 blah. I'm not tied to anybody, even though I was playing with such and such. And if I was tied down to Johnny Rivera, maybe I was. I don't remember, but I remember just freelancing.
Yeah.
Well, I said, I'm not really tied down to anybody. He says, would you be interested? You know, and at that time, I'm like, I'm grabbing with anything that I can because I'm, you know, working and I'm trying to get a name out there for myself. So I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? He says, okay, we got rehearsals at, I think it was, what was the rehearsals at? first rehearsal. I think Montana studio maybe. I don't recall, but I remember him telling me, yeah, I could tell you the gigs that we got. I had a pen and paper. He goes, so boom, we got 1, all right, cool. 3, 5. I'm like in my head, that's pretty good. 7, 8, 9,
Oh my
10,
gosh.
11, 12. We're like on gig number 15, and they're like, wait a minute, but I said, yo, this is like to like these dates are going from, I remember it was in March all the way through May. We got this, I said, oh, this is confirmed. Yeah, oh, this is confirmed. So I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. For all these years, I wondered like who recommended me to Marc. I never even asked him like who did, and then I just found out. I think it was 2 months ago. There's a promoter in New York. Well, he used to book bands back in the day. David Maldonado. He still does. He's old now, but he still does his thing, whatever. And I asked him, I said, Dave, I know you was managing Marc at that time. I'm like, yo, I never knew who. And he tells me, he has a raspy voice. He says, he goes, I was the one that was calling the musicians. And but if he call you, that's because I told him, get this guy. So I think it was David. Thank you, David. So I think it was him that, he recommended. David has a good eye for talent.
Yeah.
He does. So boom, it's March. I remember the first gig was at this club called the Roxy's. And he was there. And that's when India first came out with her own band. She left Eddie Palmieri band, which when she left, I was at that gig.
Sheesh.
When she left. That's a different story.
That's crazy.
So she comes out with her band, and I think it was Chrissy Ais. Chrissy Ais used to do house music back in the day. She's still around. And I think Luis Perico Ortiz was the band that was backing her up. And we do the first gig, and boom, I'm doing these gigs with Marc. And I mean, like, there was a lot of gigs from that time. I was only there from March to June. And from March to June, I'm going to tell you, like, see, back in those days, there was a lot of clubs in New York. There were bands that were gigging, like, every day. Just about every day. And I'm telling you, like that. I mean, like,
yeah, they're hustling.
we were working.
Yeah,
we were working like that. Like, and the line to see this guy would be out of the door. I remember one time we played in this club called Side Street in the Bronx. It was like down the hill, the entrance, and the line would go all the way up the hill, and then it would wrap around the block. That it got to the point that they told the guys, sorry, we got to close the capacity because they had to open up the upstairs to see Marc. They told the people, I'm sorry, so it was like that. And then I think it was somewhere in May or June, he says, hey guys, we got something for like a movie. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna come out in a movie, and it was for Carlito's Way. So we did a song. It was supposed to be 2 songs, but we did 1 song, Parece Mentira, which that happens to be my first recording ever. So we recorded that song with Marc, and that came out in the soundtrack of Carlito's Way. We filmed that. I remember that was like a whole week at the Palladium. They had the outfits for us. I remember I had a big afro like this, Indian vest, no shirt, tight corduroy pants, and the belt bottoms. I looked like little Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5. And so, it was like I think it was like from 9 to 5 filming this. It was like a whole week. But just that part of the club. And then we recorded the soundtrack. And while we doing that, I would finish, go home, just eat, chill out, eat, and then go do the gig at night.
Wow.
And repeat the same day the next night. So while all that is happening, I get word that Willie Colon needs a conga player. So, but, they're looking for somebody steady, and I got recommended. So they like, we ain't doing no rehearsal, but if you're interested, here's the tape. Here's the cassette. Listen to this. Listen to this show from. I think it was a show that they did in what's that island called? Margarita. I don't know. One of the Caribbean islands. They did something. Listen to that. That was my, like, we want you to play here. So I was like, Marc or Willie Colon.
Wow.
Remember, Marc is just coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know. He has a great future. He's clubs, but I don't know I don't know how long this is gonna last. You don't know because it's a new artist.
Yeah.
You see there's potential there, but you don't know what's gonna happen. Willie Colon, icon, legend, and he was one of those guys that I'd be like, man, he was on my bucket list. Like, this is the guy I want to play with. And that's the first time that if I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to see it with him. So I took the gig. I did. I was scared talking to Marc about it, but he understood. I know he didn't like it, but he understood the magnitude of the business, but so that's where I entered Willie Colon's band. That's the first time I ever traveled out of the country. 18 years old. My first gig was in Texas. We did a private event. It's a political private event. And then my first trip out of the country with Willie was to Spain. We did like 2 weeks. And I started traveling the world with Willie Colon for like a good 3 years.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Then I entered the band back again in 2007 to 2012 while I'm doing Marc's gig and while I'm doing India's gig.
So you're just jumping.
So I'm like, at that time, I'm like jumping back and forth. So, like if there was one time all 3 gigs clashed, I went with Marc. Marc's my priority. It's just is because of the loyalty and then the business aspect of it. Now Marc is
right.
Everybody else is.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think he's regarded as the biggest salsa selling artist of all time, right?
Yeah. Let me tell you something about that guy. That guy is a true manifester. Because I remember we had a gig going to Philadelphia, and he's with bus ride, New York 2 hours, and we're sitting down, and we're just talking, and he's telling me all the things he want to do in his career, and he says, Eric, I want to be the first guy that sells out Madison Square Garden. Mind you, at that time, they had salsa events, but it was with a whole bunch of artists. There was never one guy that did it. It wasn't like, like in the pop scene or the rock scene, like it's Kiss or at that time, or Metallica or whatever. Number one artist. So I'm in my head like, I'm 18 years old, dude. I'm like in my head like, wow, okay. Yeah. I'm like in my head, that's pretty big, dude. Yeah. But he says, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to pay this, I want to pay that. And I'm telling Marc, that's great, man. And he's like, I want you guys to be a part of it. I'm like, that's great. But, I'm 18 years old. I'm a young buck. I'm learning the business and blah, 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 blah. But I'm like in my head, like, the first salsero do that? Yeah. Gosh. I mean, like the highest one that they ever had at that time was Ruben Blades.
Wow.
And Ruben did things like, he did David Letterman. He did a lot of things that was like, he paved the wave. So going back to when I was with Willie, I stayed with Willie for 3 years. Then I left the band. And then at that time, I started playing with Isidro Infante y La Elite. And I start recording. Now I'm recording. A lot. I'm, recorded with Ocal de Leon, Jose Alberto. I recorded with, Celia Cruz. I record, the Carnaval. I recorded that.
Oh, you're on the...
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, my gosh.
So I recorded Carnaval. There's a lot of recordings that I have recorded with Kip Hanrahan that featured Jack Bruce in it. There's things that I recorded that never came out, and then there's things that I recorded that it came out, and then they just stopped distributing it. And
gotcha.
now you can't find it because
Yeah. Yeah, your discography is pretty lengthy. I mean, all the way back to 90, right? Like the 90s, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's things you can't find now, and it was a great era, man, because you would record and then another week there's another recording, but I need you to record 2 songs, and it was like, So while playing in the city, I'm recording. Then somewhere in '97, I get a call again from Marc's people. Eric, what are you doing? Hey, what's up? What's going on, buddy? Yeah, everything's all great. Yeah, like, hey, listen, what are you doing such and such date? Oh, I'm not doing anything. We have a show in Santo Domingo, and then the following show is in, I think it was in Canada. I'm free. Well, we need a conga player and blah, blah, blah. He says, you remember the old stuff, right? I say, yeah. And then he asked me, do you have the cassette from the second album? I said, yeah, I have it. Because I was one of those guys back then that I would go to the record store, which you kids don't know about what a record store is. I would go to your record store's Apple Music or Spotify. So I would go to the record store, like, they would let me hear it in Casa Latina, nice guy, and this guy named Vincent, man, he rest in peace, he died. I would go, and I would just buy stuff, put it in the car, listen to it. Yo, this is cool. And I'd be like, this is whack. Why I bought this, but I had it. And, they were playing on the radio, so I knew most of it.
Yeah.
Here we go again, dude. No rehearsal, no nothing. And I'm here thinking like we go to Santo Domingo, and I'm here thinking like, it's a gig at a club. No, it's a concert for a TV show.
Oh man,
It's a
wow.
and then it's on TV, so it's like I'm playing, and I remember the stuff. There's some routine breaks, and Bobby Allende, Curtis Rodriguez, they telling me like, while we playing and Marc playing, they're like, the routine breaks, because there's breaks that they put on top of the songs that's not on the album. It's just stuff that they do live.
Yeah.
Right there, finished the gig, and I'm at the hotel. I don't remember what I was doing.
Man,
I don't remember what I was doing. So, they called the room. They're like, "Hey, Marc wants to see you." What room he's in? I don't know what floor he was. So I go, and he's talking to me. Wow, it's great seeing you. Blah blah blah. Wow, this gig it's fantastic. Like, listen, I'm gonna do some changes in the band, because I'm gonna take a break and I'm gonna go do the Cape Man. He says, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm still freelancing, and I was kind of still with Isidro, but in and out.
Mm.
It was already on my way out, and then I started playing with DLG. So he's like, I want I said, like, I want you to come back. Like, you want to come back? You're like, I'm like, sure, I'm going to pay this, I'm going to pay that. I'm like, sure. Mind you, at that time, I knew that he was already at that level, like, he's getting to that level.
Yeah.
But the level that I'm talking about is a level like the only furthest that you could get in the salsa industry. Like, like, not to say anything bad about it, like the level, like maybe Gilberto's at, that type of stuff that he, was back then. Like, it's a great gig.
Yeah.
I never thought he was going to get to where he's at now.
Right.
That never even came into my mind.
Wow.
So he said, but it has to be after when I finish Cape Man. I don't know how many months that's going to be. I'm like, all right, cool, we'll do it. So I go do my thing, go play with DLG and all that. And then Cape Man didn't last long, so band starts again. We are in 1997, and fast forward, we're here. I'm here. I'm still here.
Sheesh. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing for the up and coming musician. I mean, to land a gig like Marc Anthony, I mean, you guys went all the way back. I mean, you guys were pretty young, but to actually keep the gig 30 years later, especially for somebody who's literally at the top of the game, can you share a little advice or something of how does somebody keep that type of caliber gig for this long? I mean, relationship has a lot to do with that, but maybe you could just share some advice on how you're able to maintain that relationship.
I think it's just you have to be on top of your craft, Always got to be on top of your craft, learning. But it's just everything. It's personality, that's out of the music. It's just like you having a job. People go to work. If they tell you 9 o'clock and you have to clock in, you're going to get there 20 minutes earlier. Do what you have to do, clock in. They tell you to do this, do that. If there's a suggestion, you do it. There's no attitude, there's nothing. And try to get along with everybody. Because in the music field, there's characters. Yeah, there's characters. I mean, you have to learn how to get along with everybody. Be on top of your craft, be responsible. That's pretty much it, man. Just be a good person, Even if things go south, man, sometimes you can't let your anger, your emotions get to you. You got to think before you want to explode or
Wow, that's good.
I think it's just that, getting, lobby call, they tell you be there. Lobby calls 3 o'clock. I'm downstairs at 2:45.
Yeah.
They say wear black. I'm gonna wear black and I'm gonna dress nice. I'm not gonna look bummy on stage. Or
That's good.
there's certain things, like if you're on stage, there's certain things. If they tell you don't do this, don't do that, then you don't do it. If they tell you play like this, play like that. Remember, it's not your show. It's not. If they tell you, I want you to play this way, and in your mind, you don't think, who's paying you? You're not gonna do what you want, and it's a lot of things that play into it.
Yeah.
So.
Having a front row seat to literally the last decades of this music industry and where we are today, especially with AI and all the advancements in production, and people can literally just make anything in their bedrooms. How have you seen the music industry change, and what is your outlook for the future?
Man, that's a tough one, man, because I've seen it evolved, like to the point, like I remember going to the studio. We had the real tapes. They would take it out and then they would cut and splice it. You used to record the whole band together.
Right.
If somebody messed up, hey, guess what, guys? We're doing it again. And boom, we're doing it again. And then came the era when we started recording separate, and they had a metronome. You're like, and it's just you, and all you hear is bass and piano.
Oh, wow.
So it got to the point that you just heard bass and piano. Like certain guys read music, and while they reading, all they hear, they playing was on the chart, and some of us didn't read music, so you had the producer telling us, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, ticka taka ticka ticka paila. Play all the way straight through, Eric. I'm gonna tell you when, and I'm gonna count you in 4 bars. I'm gonna count you in 8 bars to go, and then the break is gonna be raba boom pa tu pa tu tu pa. Remember, the break is raba tu 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 ticka paka tu, and I have the producer telling me raba tu pa tu ka tu pa. And okay, the break is coming. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And if you didn't do the raba, okay, boom, let's do it again. Let's go back again. And then it had to be precise on the metronome.
Yeah.
Now it's different because if you're not on time, they be like the engineer be like, oh, I can move this up. Oh, he's a little bit dizzy there. Hold on, let me line it up. Copy, paste, beep, beep, beep. It's easier now. I think it's easier now because technology. Back then, no, you really had to like
be on it.
be on it. You had to be on it.
Yeah.
I remember one recording that I did with Isidro that for some reason, man, I wasn't getting it, dude. I wasn't playing on the metronome, and he stopped. He says, you know what? Let's do this for some other time. Which he got somebody else to do it. Which he should have told me, but I understand that. It's all good, Isidro. Okay, I still love you. But I understand. He told me, listen, go get yourself a metronome. And the next recording, I'll use you. practice on it. What I did, I went to 48th Street. 48th Street in Manhattan at that time, they had all the stores. They had Guitar Center, Sam Ash, Manny's. So I bought one and boom, I put it and I'm at home. Blah, blah, blah. And he told me, yo, you ready? Like, yeah, ready. Because I had a good ear. I went to school to know how to read Boys Harbor. I took a semester. I knew how to read. But for some reason, when I started to record, I'm like, I don't want to look at the paper. So I'm like, tell me. Because at that time, I feel like if I was reading, I was stuck. It wouldn't let me. But you gotta keep doing it till you get used to it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, nah, just tell me. Just tell me. And it just give me the break. And it just went like that. So, but now these days, you know, people will send you tracks now. When they send you a track, I did a recording like a few months ago. They send you a track and I hear everything. I hear the brass. I hear this. I hear that. I know what the brass. Back then, I didn't know what the brass was doing. I didn't know. They would tell me, okay, the mambo's coming in, and you hear the bass changes and all. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the brass is going para beep 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 pa para ba di di. I don't know, because when you hear that as a percussionist, you go by that. You go by that feeling because you know what the brass is playing and you know what to throw in. So I gotta go with my inner Congo. I gotta throw in my roots from Africa, like. Guys, guide me, because I don't know what.
Yeah.
They at that time, you just heard bass and piano. Sometimes you heard little changes there, and like what the bass would do and all that. And the same thing went with the bass player, because the bass player, he don't know what I'm gonna play. He's just playing with the bass and piano. So it was different back then. They would tell you, oh, create something right here. So you hear ding, so I had to create something on the spot. Sometimes they would tell me, no, can you do me something a little more subtle? Because the producer knew what was on the brass line. And sometimes I would ask, like, what's there? Can you sing me something? You know, he would like, okay. So it's changed a lot. I mean, like, now it's everything is fast now. Everything is fast. Like, you could take out a song now. Oh, that song is it's the it song now, and then in 2 months it's like, okay, what happened to that song? It's all right. What's the next one? Boom. Everything is fast now. But even with the young generation, everything is fast now. Everything is like the whole world. I mean, that's, I guess, in my opinion, that's the way life is, and as technology gets better, everything gets faster. It gets faster and it gets easier. It gets this and gets that. So, to the point that is it gotten better? Is it better? In some parts it is, and in some parts it's not, because a lot of kids now, you know, you have a group of kids. There's a lot that could play, and there's a lot that they're missing that it. Because you need like gulliness. You need like street dirt. You know, a lot of the street jams, the rumbas and all that you saw in the city, and all that, that's gone. That's not there no more. You know, you learned your craft by playing every day. It was what you call that, on job learning.
Yeah.
And then you had the old timers. If they felt like it, they would tell you, like, you're doing this wrong. If they felt like it, or they give you dirty looks if you did anything bad, like what, you know, the old timers were hard. Yeah. So it was, you know, you had to be tough back then. You know, now it's like, you know, when the young cats ask, you know, we're nice, but you know, there's a lot of them now. Like, if you tell them a little rough, everybody's sensitive.
Yeah.
The whole world is sensitive. It's like, you know, I'm like, and you know, a lot of these guys, I tell them, you guys wouldn't have lasted.
Yeah.
With the guys that I grew up with, the old timers, which they're a lot older now. A lot of them are not around. But yeah, man, back then they were, I seen fights, man. I seen arguments, man. Like, you playing here? You know, like,
wow.
So it's, you know, it's it's different now.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, you've been with Marc for the last 30 years or so. What's the idea, or how does he feel about using tracks for shows? Or is everything live?
Everything's live.
Cool.
95% of it is 5. There will be little times that, you know, you have to use the track.
Yeah.
Because of stuff that he's done, reggaeton stuff,
Sure.
which, you know, I get it. But what you see on stage, 90% is live.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that none of us never dealt with dealing with tracks, because I played with Jennifer Lopez and this stuff I did with this Colombian artist. She's not singing anymore, Fanny Lou. I did something with Ali at one point, one gig. And we know the deal with dealing with tracks, how the pop world, we've dealt with that, you know. We know how that is.
Yeah.
But what you see with Marc, it's 98% is boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
You're going.
We're live.
Yeah.
We're in color. But it's that band, not to toot our back, you know. It's an amazing band. I mean, the guys who are in that band is, wow, man. When it's time to rock and roll,
Yeah.
even if we're tired or we're wherever, it's, you know, like the long flights and all that, and we get stuff last minute to like learn things, it's like,
Yeah.
boom. You know, it's like when we're on stage, it's like, boom, let's go.
That's amazing.
You know, let's go. It's like that chemistry on stage is like, yeah, man.
Yeah, you can't beat it, right?
Nah,
Who's another member of the band that's been there the longest besides you?
I'll break it down to you. I go by tiers.
Okay.
There's only 4 of us that's been there since the 90s.
Wow.
That's me, Andrew Fernandez, the musical MD, the trumpet player, Urban Paris, the bass player,
Yeah.
and William Duval is the corista. William has been there since the 90s. And then there's the second tier that's been around for like 20 or plus. You know, that's like Jesse Caraballo, Mario Guini, Alexandra Tavares. Who else? Ooh, wait a minute. I think that's it. And then the rest is like they either have a 10-year or less gap.
Man.
So those are the tiers. Because a lot of guys left to do other things.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's how the music field is.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah.
that's the tier. That's been the tier how
Gotcha.
it is.
Eric, you came out recently with a signature line from
Yes, I did.
Toca Percussion. I don't know if you want to. Do you have anything you want to show?
Yeah, I do. I have everything here.
Oh, that's clean, man.
So this I have here is this is my campana stick. So this is a 10-inch. You know, a couple of years ago we had a 9-inch. So this is a 10-inch for guys who want that longer length and guys that have bigger hands. So we have 2 of them now, 9-inch and a 10-inch. So
Beautiful.
you can see. Then we have my bells. I have a campanas, 2 campanas, a high pitch and a medium pitch. I don't have the medium pitch with me now, but that's, you know, for bongo players. But I've heard like in the past 2 years, like, God, you know, when do you make it for like drummers?
Yeah. Mountable, right?
Mountable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
there
good.
We are, mountable. You know, my signatures on it. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
mountable
amazing.
for drummers and timbaleros who do double cowbell.
For sure.
Cowbell. Then for the first time in Toca's history, we have timbale sticks.
Wow.
Sick.
On the my
Yeah, it's a
line.
nice finish.
Yeah, so it's
And your signature's on it too,
my
right?
signature's on it.
On the back.
So it's 16-inch length. So it's I'm pretty happy about. And I'm not, you know, I play timbales, but timbales is not my dominant instrument.
Right,
but
right.
I'm pretty excited about these because it's like, wow, you know, first time in Toca, they never had timbale sticks. So
Man. That's amazing.
I think they're out now.
Yeah. So everything's available already on the website?
They should be.
Yeah.
They're on the website and everything. You know, we're in March, so I think maybe if not this month, I think next month. So that goes along with, you know, with the timbale bells I have, that signatures
Yeah.
on the mind, the timbales, bongos, congas, and
Yeah.
so I'm, you know, I've never thought that would get that far, you know, as for my signature line. I never even thought I was going to get a signature line, period, in my life. But I'm very blessed, thank God. And, you know, it's like, wow, man, you know, sometimes you have to check yourself. Like, you know, you got to be like, hey, do you know that you got this and you have that? I keep forgetting, like, because I get so busy, you know, doing other things with my life and my personal life. And I keep forgetting, like, yo, dude, you know that
That's amazing.
you have this and you have that and you have so many things under your name, not too many people. And I keep forgetting that. And then I come back to reality. I said, you know, thank God.
Yeah.
I've never thought of my wildest dreams. But
That's amazing.
And this is actually a very it's a very rare feat, actually. You know, Kevin and I talk about, especially like NAMM, and talking about endorsements and being an artist on a company's brand, but to actually have your own signature line of instruments with a company like Toca. Can you speak a little bit on how that kind of developed? Obviously, you have had to have a huge influence in this music space for a company to even approach you and say, Eric, we think you're a big enough influence that we want to create a signature line in your name. How did that all come about?
That came about, I think that happened in 2007, which, next year I'm going to have 20 years.
20 years, man.
I'm going to have 20 years with Toca. The way that came about was I was with another company that's a wonderful company. You know, I don't want to drop any names.
Sure.
You know, but they treated me well, you know, and I got approached by another musician, older musician that I respect dearly. And I guess Toca, they had so many people in the West Coast. You know, that was when Sheila E was in, you know, but they didn't have nobody in the East Coast. And they were lacking that. I mean, like, those years at NAMM show, the Toca booth was like, they were like, you know, we're gonna, you know, like, we don't have anything. You know, we have guys in the West Coast. This is great. And they had, you know, East Coast, and, you know, they had Sheila, they had Taku, great friends of mine. And, you know, but I guess in the salsa world or whatever, there was nothing that was like, you know, so they felt like they were, you know, we need something. We need somebody. So that person recommended me to them. So it was funny because they were like, oh, we want a meeting with you. And I'm like, cool. And it felt like a mob meeting. You know, it felt like one of those things like, okay, hey, meet us at this place in Jersey on Route 6. I don't know, no, it was actually like that, Route 6 at this ice cream parlor, blah, 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 blah. Come at this time. I felt like I was like being, you know, like set up, like I was going to be made or if I was going to get hit. And it felt like that. And I remember when I went, you know, the representative at that time, he had a whole bunch of magazines out. And he sat down, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And he sits down and he opens up Modern Drummer magazine, all these ads. And he sees, and you know, all the companies, and you see a lot of guys on it, whatever. He goes, what's wrong with this picture? He tells me, what's wrong with this picture? I go, no, it's a whole bunch of other people. He goes, who's not there? And then I said, me? He goes, exactly.
Wow.
He goes, and this is what we want to do for you. We got recommended by you, and we know who you are. But this is what we want to do. We need somebody that, are you interested? And I was already on board because I was looking for that. Just promo. I wasn't getting the promo. You know, there's two different things of getting at that time. It was two different things of getting free stuff and getting promo. How many drums I can get, bro?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
how many? You know, but at that time, it's not like now. At that time, you wanted promo, and your promo was getting it through magazines.
Yeah.
The internet was still. The only thing you had was MySpace.
Right.
Facebook was like, yeah, you heard of this thing called Facebook?
Yeah.
But it was, you know, that's where, you know, and I was already in. The signature stuff came in. I was already sold. And then the signature stuff, I was like, let me ask. Because the times I was going to NAMM, a lot of people were telling me, so, hey, Eric, dude, when you going to get your own signature line? And I hear another person, and I hear another person. And I'm like in my head, why are people telling me this? Because I didn't feel like I was worthy. You know, like, you know, signature line, like Giovanni Tito Puente. I'm like, so I took a gamble. I said, let me ask. Even if they tell me no, I'm still gonna take the deal because of the whole promo thing.
Yeah.
Is, you know, you want your face out there. And they told me, yeah, we can do that for you. Can you wait 2 years? Because we have to build you up. So, yeah, I don't mind. And it happened like that. I had to leave the other company. And, you know, that was hard to do because that's a great great company. And to this day, we're still friends.
Yeah.
You know, you always want to keep that
For sure.
business open. I always tell guys, do business the right way, you know. And here we are. I went from my first signature line, then I went to my second, and now this is my third, and all these things. And so, yeah, man,
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
amazing.
beautiful cowbell too, by the way. We gotta talk afterward, bro.
we'll talk. Yeah, man. But they've been wonderful. I mean, Tokas went through a lot of things throughout the years because they used to be owned by Cayman, then they went to Fender, and then I think it was DW. So now with Rhythm Band. So they I can't complain.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And again, it really speaks to you and your character for next year. You would be with them for 20 years.
20, you know, time flies, man. Look, man, I remember when I was 16 years old. I'm 15 years old now. I'm 15. 51. I'm 51 years old, man, and it's great, man. I mean, is the business hard? Yeah, it is. It's hard, man. It's not for the weak.
Yeah,
No, not for the weak.
that's good, man. Eric, where can people find you online?
Eric Velez Music, and Instagram is one word, and Facebook, Eric Velez Music, Facebook, TikTok. I have a YouTube page called Eric Velez Percussion Chronicles. I've been doing this since last year. I think I'm about 20 episodes in.
Beautiful.
So I do that on my own.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I edit it. I do everything. I do the best that I can, dude. And
Yeah, with the time that you have, right? You're so busy, man.
I ask questions, but at the same time, like, you know, like you got to learn how to use the internet and social media. I learned how do I copy and, you know, edit, and how do I do, this thing called CapCut. Okay, there's this other thing. And I start, and I just said, I dove right into it because what happened was I was thinking throughout these few years, I'm like, I need to do a YouTube channel, but how? And it's always that, should I do it?
Right.
Should I don't know how, you know. I suggestion, just dive into it, man.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
Learn. And to this day, I still learn. There's a few channels that I watch that I look at. What did they do? How did they do that? So I'm like looking, how do they do that? So then I do my research on my own. You know, like, oh, that's how they do that. So now I'm kind of like getting the hang of it. Okay, boom, 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 boom. And then it's fun for me because I start thinking about what music goes here. Because it's like we're talking. You guys know how it is. We're talking, and it's like, I need music in this.
Yeah.
And I'm on the road, I'm like, Boom. And I'm doing everything on my iPhone, dude.
Yeah,
that's
my
amazing.
17 Pro Max. So I'm doing everything. So I'm finding like little features like, oh, this
Yeah.
I didn't know this phone could do this. I can enhance the voice. I could, there's
Yeah.
things like, do I need the microphone now? I'm like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So then I put things together. And if I see something that's funny with the band, I'm like, I gotta record this. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah. That's
So
good.
then when I see like music, okay, music funny. Well, okay, what would John Williams do in this case? So I have that is Eric Velez Percussion Chronicles, which the next episode, I don't know when I'm gonna take it out. It should be next week or the other week.
Awesome.
It'll be the Vegas rehearsal.
From the residency with Marc.
Right.
Which, by the way, where can people see you next? If they want to go see you live.
Fontainebleau with Vegas, Marc Anthony, my way. Other things will pop up.
Yeah.
As of right now, that's the way it is.
Right.
It just things will pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, it's not okay, but yeah,
Amazing.
you'll see me there, and I have things coming up. This I just don't wanna. There's a lot of things that I'm working on. This maybe I should just say it. I'll say it. I'm working on an ebook
Wow.
Beautiful.
for the traveling touring musician.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Yeah.
What to do, not
Yeah,
to do,
yeah.
this, that, blah, blah, blah. So
That's amazing.
I'm working on
Yes,
that.
sir.
And
We gotta have you back when that releases.
Yeah, man.
yeah,
We'd love to have you
it's tough because I'm a one man gang. I'm a one man gang. So I do have help too.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, she's pretty cool. She helps me with that stuff,
Beautiful.
and she's into the whole marketing thing, and so big ups to her. So and I say I'm a one man band, gang in that department that I'm putting everything together. But like advices and all that, I get,
Yeah.
I take advice for young people. Take advice from people who got their stuff together.
Yeah. That's good.
For the young generation, yeah, my advice to them is if you're young, and I'm talking about like you're in your early 20s, take your money, and if you're getting paid, let's say $500, you want to take maybe 20% of that and invest it. Whatever, mutual funds, whatever, SP 500. There's so many things now. There's Robinhood, Fidelity, there's this and that. If you do that with all your paycheck, doesn't matter if you get paid $100, you're gonna take some of that, and you're gonna, by the time you reach my age, and you just let that sit there, let all the stocks, let your dividends do this, make your money work. Because you don't know how long this is gonna last. I've been doing this for 35 years. Thank God. You just don't know. But you want to get, if they do that by the time they get my age, you're gonna have money sitting there like
Yeah.
so when you get older. Because sometimes there's gigs that's gonna, when you get paid, they'll take taxes out. And there's some gigs that don't. You get paid through your corporation. So you got to do things on your own.
Yeah.
If you get paid through a corporation, you pay your taxes quarterly. And then you want to somehow, there's a way of putting into your Social Security, even though you have, a LLC. There's a way of doing it. So I tell musicians that. People tell me, young musicians, oh, give me pointers of how to play and all that. A lot of these guys, I don't have to give them pointers how to play because they rolling, like, doing the triples, doing with the hands, like, I could tell you to slow down and all that. But the first thing I could tell you, play discipline. Hey, time, less is more. But I always tell them, if you're in your 20s, even in your 30s, do that.
Yeah.
They didn't teach me that.
Wow.
My generation did not teach us that. Do this and do that. They just went like, oh, save your money for a car. Save your money for some new drums. Save your money for some clothes. If my younger self, I would have told my younger self that. I'd be like, hey, stop trying to dress fly. Stop trying to buy the fly sneakers. Stop trying to buy this car and stop trying to. I would tell myself to do that.
That's good.
And
man.
I would tell the young generation, do that. And they have it because everything's there.
Yep.
They
apps
have
and
so
everything.
many
Yeah.
apps. AI will tell you, invest in this, invest in that. Watch how the stock market goes. Do that. And while you're doing that, then look for something else that's going to bring you, revenue in. There's so many things now. Like, I do it. There's this and there's that. There's so many things, So I would tell the young generation, do that. And, just be humble. They tell you be downstairs on time, be downstairs on time. If you're going to do business, do not give business with an attitude. Learn how to write in your emails, professional way. If possible, thank you, please.
Yeah.
Try to get along with everybody.
Yeah.
You're going to meet a lot of guys in the music field that they're either cool or they have like the biggest ego in the world. And you got to know how to deal with people like that. And if the gig is not for you, it's not for you. Not for you. God probably has something else better for you. Just keep working on your crafts. I've seen musicians be like, oh, man, wow, he got that gig. Some guys did something right. And some guys, let's be honest, let's be transparent. Some guys, they did something to get there. I'm being very honest.
Yeah.
It's so you can't get in that bag, be like, just do you.
Yeah.
And do the right thing. Don't undercut anybody. Because I see not a lot in the music field. My God, man. They be like, hey, I could do it less than him. I could do it. No, don't do that. If somebody's on that gig, and you're doing that, you're taking food away from that person. If you're taking a gig away from somebody just because you want to be on it. No, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you.
Yeah.
If the doors are open for you, doors are you audition, you do whatever it is that, don't take somebody else's gig. I've seen that so many times, especially with percussion. Don't do that. Don't do that. If times are tough for you, try to find a way out, but don't go and take somebody else's gig. Or I get it if that person gets fired and that seat is open, I get it. All right, then, that seat's open. Don't do that. Even if that person is not that talented, you don't know what that person's going through.
Yeah.
You don't know if that person is going through hard time. You don't know how many kids or what he's going. Just don't do that. Because I've seen guys be like, that guy can't play. I'm gonna see if I take that gig away from him. Oh, because
Wow.
dude, yeah, don't. So I tell the young generation, don't do that. Help each other out. It's tough. Some of them might take the advice, some of them, won't, You got to remember, everybody's replaceable, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody's replaceable.
Yep.
I haven't learned that too. You could be, oh, yeah. Boom, you're gone. That next that next kid that's coming up is.
Yeah.
So that's my
good.
advice.
We got to have you back for a part 2,
Yeah.
Eric. It's so much good stuff.
Thank you.
For your time, for
Thank you,
coming
guys.
out. Man, just major shout out.
You guys are awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you,
I
Eric.
appreciate
We're
it.
excited about this episode coming out. Guys, if you haven't already, we invite you to subscribe to our
Subscribe.
YouTube channel,
Subscribe to the
Chad and
YouTube
Chong. If you're listening
Chad and Chong.
via
right here.
if you're listening via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you rate the show 5 stars, give us a follow, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
Later.